You want to know how I make some really awesome podcasts? It's called Anchor. For one, it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for free so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcasts with no minimum listenership. It is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And download your free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Who's going to join me? Come on, let's have some fun. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Rogue Radio.
Hello.
And that is my beautiful soon-to-be husband, Terrance. And today, we're going to be talking about worry. So, first things first. Do you think worry is a natural thing?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Sometimes you just gotta look at worry and say, why is something serious?
Okay.
But I think it's something that our natural bodies tend to do. When we I feel like worry is more of an internal thing, and it not comes from maybe something from our past that we just kind of like. Maybe some of our failures, they creep up in situations like, oh, well, what if I don't meet this quota, or maybe if I'm not good enough to do this job, or what if I mess things up, or something like that. And I think definitely if you have anxiety or you have different I think maybe like signs of like maybe not wanting to be around like a lot of people, and I think it kind of depends on the person, but I think worry is just really something that has to be every day conquered. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of I wrote some of all the stuff that I wanted to talk about down. I said worry is fear's little pet because we've kind of adopted it into our lives, and we feed it, we play with it, we kind of
play with it.
That
sounds kind of kinky.
No. We're gonna be on the air and you had to make that joke. No. As in, certain issues that we have in life. Instead of letting it go, we worry about it too much.
Oh, yeah.
We're playing with it, pretty much.
Just like we've been planning a wedding for a couple
months
now, and yeah, there has been some worrying.
Oh, heck yes. It is, it's not fun, the process, but it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah.
Definitely. We allow it to be a sensible part of our lives, like Terrance said. We allow ourselves to believe that it's normal, and it certainly isn't. I understand that worry comes natural, and to certain people, but it isn't natural at all to me. I think concern is, and do you think that there's a difference between worry and concern?
Yes. Worrying is possessive. Concern is cautious.
Oh, I like that. I didn't write that one down. That's great. See, this is why I'm marrying you, because you can be a bit more more explanatory. I said worry runs with fear and concern confronts it. And worry assumes when concern asks questions. Worry confirms fear, and concern confirms peace. Worrying is a rocking chair, which means we take one worry and we decide to just obsess over it. And then, concern is not. It's not like that at all. But we worry over things that we don't understand. Concern merely comes from a place where we want to understand. worrying sometimes mostly comes from, like, the worrying of the future of what's to come. So, I'm gonna kind of tell you why. Well, you already know. I'm gonna tell my listeners why. You know, like, personally, this has been a thing for me to talk about. I come from a family of worrywarts. My mom and my grandma are obsessed with cleanliness, staying healthy. They go to ridiculous measures to stay clean. They hate sickness. It can be annoying. They care too much about perfection and worry about what others think. And I don't say that to, like, throw them under the bus. I'm saying I get their worrying from them. And I have unfortunately inherited this trait. To be perfectly honest, in the past, it's kind of crippled me from going out and doing things and for myself and everything. I worried about being successful, about being enough, being good enough, having enough, about making mistakes, basically about everything. And worry will, hang on. Worry will ruin you and keep you in your place. I let it keep me in fear for 8 years. Don't let it happen to you. You got anything to add, baby?
Well, not right now.
Not right now?
No.
So you're just gonna let me read?
Sure.
Oh no!
Go at it.
No! Quit scrolling on your phone. What was that? Go back up. Aww. That's a cute baby. Sorry, okay, I saw a baby. It's beautiful. What the heck is on his head?
His lips are too big.
That's mean.
What?
And she's pretty. Okay, anyway. I forgot we were on the air just a second. Just a little bit. Okay. I've got, I don't know how many points I've got. So we're just gonna run with it. How to combat worry. Number 1, realize that you're worrying. A lot of people with this problem will think that it's normal. And they won't... You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. They won't necessarily realize that they're worrying because it's been such a normal thing in their lives to do. So, realize that your thought pattern needs to change. Do you have anything to add?
No.
You're a big help. Say your worries out loud. This is the second one. Say your worries out loud and see if saying it sounds ridiculous. Worry exaggerates normal situations and it makes it seem almost impossible to happen. I cannot tell you how many times I've worried and I've told Terrance about my worries. And he would just kind of laugh at them or think that it's so stupid for me to even worry about something so small or something so not serious. Do you have a... Baby.
Yes?
You're supposed to help me.
Okay.
Do you have anything to add about what I just said?
I'll add on the next one.
Okay. I love doing podcasts with you. Okay, point number 3. Do something that makes you happy. Distractions like exercise or occupational therapy, or in other words, art, will help you stop thinking so much.
Yeah. What she said, it says that your mind, has a lot to do with the worrying process. So when you're active or when you're doing something with your hands, with your body,
It gives you a sense of control.
When you're walking, when you're being active, it's actually your body, the body that's telling the mind, okay, I can stop thinking about, I can stop worrying for a little bit, and I can focus on maybe a project, or I can focus on something that I love to do, instead of worrying about something that at that moment I can't control. So there's not really a sense of me worrying about it. So since I'm not going to worry about it, I'm going to do something that I love to replace that, even though my anxiety's kicking in. But I'm going to replace that anxiety at the moment for something that I love to do.
Yeah, with something constructive. So I don't know if it's like this with everybody, but if you worry too much, you end up, well, in my case, sometimes, like back in the past, I would end up, having anxiety attacks for, worrying so much. So in order for you to get out of that mindset, it's very important to do something outside of your mind. Because then it gives you this sense of control, like, okay, I'm doing something, and everything's okay. Everything's okay. When your body puts into action something, like put something into action, your mind is able to quiet down. Number 4, talk to someone about your worries. Most of the time, the person will rationalize your worries. And, I mean, just like my third point, when I said that Terrance has definitely been there when I've worried too much, and he would sit there and talk with me about it and rationalize my exaggerated mind, and I would feel better, I'm so glad we're past that, though.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare at first. But, point number 5, expectation versus reality. If you're worrying about something, like a presentation or something big that's important to you, do your best and see how the reality of things tears down your expectation. I want to say about 2 years ago, 2 years, I think it's been 3 now, I had the opportunity to meet my real father. I'm not gonna talk too much about it, like the whole story behind that, but my biological father wasn't in my life until I was about 27, 28. And me, being the person that I am, I would worry and expect the worst. But I also really wanted to meet him, and even if I expected the worst, I still wanted to see what was going on, like if he really wanted me in his life. And I expected a fight, I expected him to turn me away and everything, and he was actually very sweet. We talked. I come and visit him a lot, and it's actually really cool to see your worries kind of crash down in front of you, and reality kind of takes that place. What about you, baby? You have any example of that?
Not really. I just agree with what you were saying.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Just about, taking the place we talked about.
Talk to me about it.
Just replacing,
your worries?
Your worries and
reality replacing your worries?
Yeah, reality in life, and I feel like...
Well, sometimes it's not always like that. Some situations aren't always like that, and I understand that.
Well, I can't speak from that situation, because know what's in my head, so I can't really speak for your situation because you have a different perspective than me, babe. So why don't you tell me your perspective?
Well, I just did.
Okay.
Like, my perspective was, do that thing that scares you. Like, confront your fear. Like, that's what I was trying to say. Like, confront it. And when that, I don't want to say that worry comes to reality, but sometimes your reality outside yourself contradicts your fears. That's what I'm trying to say. Are you falling asleep? No! Okay, well. Point number 6. Take thoughts captive. Okay. So, 2 Corinthians 10:5. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to God. Now, all of my life, I read that scripture and did not realize, like, what it meant until I listened to this YouTube video that kind of put that scripture into perspective. Now, we all have bad thoughts now, but just some of us have those bad thoughts get stuck in our brains a little too much. So, for those of you who have bad thoughts, when that thought comes in, no matter how scary it is, I challenge you to look at that bad thought and decide whether or not that's really you that's having that bad thought. And if it's not you, cast it out. Just like, oh, that's not me. And so that is what I got out of that scripture. By doing this, you're disarming the power next time it comes around. There are times when sometimes Terrance will just hear me chuckle in the background sometimes, and it's mostly because I had like a ridiculous thought and I'm laughing at it. And I remember when I had this worry problem and this anxiety problem, I was singing at the house ministry that me and Terrance go to now regularly. I was singing and I had a thought pop into my head. And I remember chuckling while I was singing, like I was kind of laughing at it. And one of Terrance's friends, Matt and Terrance's friends, came up after I got done singing, and he kind of prophesied over me and said, well, you kind of laughed during your little rendition, and he goes, well, God told me that he wants you to laugh at the enemy's tactics. And whether or not you guys think it's spiritual, mental, that's not my responsibility to say that my opinion is fact or my belief is fact. You guys can determine whatever is right for you. But when he said that, I have not stopped laughing at the ridiculousness in my head. And point number 7, and I know this one's very, very hard for people to accept, and some people I think probably kind of brush it off when people say this, is think positive. It is, especially in a society that is negative almost 100% of the time. It doesn't just get mastered overnight. It's a practice and a process. Everything in life is a process. And ignore my husband snoring. He's decided to fall asleep during my podcast. I didn't know I was that boring. And that is why a lot of people end up being depressed because of the process. Because the process is slow, or they don't see the results right away. I won't say that people who are depressed or have worry issues don't try. I'm pretty sure a lot of you try. The majority of you do. It's the fact that when we do try, we don't see the results right away. And it is very hard. It's a very quiet, very slow, and very almost unseen process, but I tell you, it does work. And just keep going, you know? If you have thoughts of saying, oh man, I hate myself, and, you know, I'll never be good enough, or I'm never gonna get the promotion, speak life over yourself. And I know I've probably said this before many times in my podcasts, but speak life over yourself, meaning speak what you want out of life. Like, oh, I am gonna get married. I am gonna get that promotion. I am good enough. I am beautiful. I love myself. And yeah, like I said, it may seem very strange and foreign and weird at the time, but the more you do it, the more confident you will become. And it is not easy, I will tell you. It is not easy to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love myself. It is very hard. It is something that has to be practiced every day, just like a sport has to be practiced over and over and over again until you're good at it. Philippians 4:8 kind of sums this up. It says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think on these things. Just as it is important to speak life, we have to think life. What we think affects our mood and affects who we are as people with purpose. Everyone has a purpose. If you are alive, you have a purpose. I also kind of wanted to talk about the effects of worry in the body, and it is very important that I talk to you guys about this, because I believe that, you know, I've had some health issues before. I won't go into it just because I don't want to say anything like that. I don't want you guys to worry about me. I don't want anyone to worry about me about that. I am fine now. But since I've worried so much, I feel like my body at one point kind of retaliated against me. And there's a lot of things, like your body has its own language. And I don't mean just body language. I mean, it has its own language towards you. The reason why you get sick, the reason why your body reacts to things, the reason why you're allergic is your body's trying to tell you something. And so for people who worry, I mean, acid reflux, I've heard, and I've actually researched this, it actually triggers acid reflux. And that would definitely apply to me. I've suffered from acid reflux ever since I was 6 years old, and it is awful. It's awful. I would not wish acid reflux upon my worst enemy. It is awful. It also triggers intestine problems like GERD or gastritis, diarrhea, constipation, sort of stuff. It lowers your libido because of how much exhaustion goes into worry, how much anxiety and exhaustion goes into worry. It tires you down and you don't want to do much. And that's also where depression comes into play as well. You have muscle problems, migraines, and tension headaches because you think too much. In cosmetology school, we were taught that a lot of the stress goes to the head, and it is very true. I mean, I give my husband head massages every day, almost, because he's so, he's stressed out at work. Sometimes he deals with people that, aren't very nice to him sometimes. We all have those work experiences that aren't the best, And he comes home and I massage his temples and his head, and he goes right to sleep, just like he is now. He's snoring. Oh my gosh. It increases your heart rate, gives you breathing, asthma, or lung disease, a high blood pressure, heart attack, or stroke in worst cases, weakens your immune system, stomach problems, and the list goes on. Honestly, it just depends, I guess, on your family history and what your mental state, what part of the body kind of affects that. But honestly, my advice is to laugh. Laughter is probably, this is my last bit of advice, is to laugh. Don't take yourself so seriously. Sometimes I feel like a lot of people think way too much and worry too much about all of that. And worrying is probably the most useless thing that your body and your mind can do. And the thing is that, we don't necessarily realize that we're doing it because it's been so accepted in society and in ourselves and in our families and just in life in general. And like I said, concern and, worry are two different things. Learn to be more concerned than worried, because worried is unrealistic and being concerned is. But, let's see, don't live in your head and live awkwardly. Though the world may seem scary a lot of the time, but if you find those places in reality that challenge you and help you grow and be brave, you will thrive. Do you, be you. Stop concerning yourself about the tiny worries and focus yourself on the love and the loved ones and the support system that you have. I lost my place. Give me a minute. Surrounding yourself with people that support you. I don't know what I would do without my new family, my spiritual family. They've helped me shed the old skin I lived in and made me new, basically. Worry is a waste of time and good health. It's a waste of your good health. So don't let it ruin you. With that, I'll say goodbye. Remember to speak life, live life. Don't exist in life, live and thrive. All right, I'll see you guys next time.